Disenfranchisement is the restriction of a legal right, most commonly associated with depriving a group of people the right to vote. Depending on your age, gender, or skin color, your right to vote in the United States may not have always been guaranteed. In fact, unless you are a white man over 21, your right to vote in the U.S. wasn't secured until sometime within the last 100 years. So what exactly did it look like when only certain groups were making the decisions? Until the late 1800s, voting was an act done only by white, property-owning men over the age of 21. The 15th Amendment, which prohibits states from denying the right to vote on account of race, should have brought all black men into the fold in theory. In practice, however, the rise of Jim Crow laws in the South allowed several states to bypass this amendment. These were locally enforced laws such as poll taxes and literacy tests that largely affected African Americans, keeping them disenfranchised for several more decades. In 1920, the 19th Amendment guaranteed the right to vote for women. However, the same practices we mentioned earlier, in effect, limited voting to only white women. The 1920s also saw Native Americans guaranteed the right to vote through the passing of the Indian Citizenship Act. The Civil Rights Movement in the mid-1960s forced a series of congressional acts and constitutional amendments that eliminated Jim Crow laws and guaranteed black men and women the right to vote. Over the past 50 years, several other acts of Congress have brought more voters into eligibility and made it easier for those living with disabilities or with limited English skills. While these advances have made our electorate larger and more diverse, the fight for voting rights continues to this day.